Hello everyone, and welcome to the Nucoro Partner Spotlight. I'm Nikolai. I'm the head of strategy and partnerships for Nucoro. And here we invite our partners onto the, well, at the moment, of course, virtual stage, and to put them quite literally in the spotlight and talk about them, but of course also about how our solutions together create client value. And today, I'm very happy to be joined by Simon Kingston. He's the EMEA channel director for Jumio. How are you, Simon? How's it going?
I'm great. Thanks, Nikolai. Good to be speaking to you again. And thanks for featuring us on your Spotlight profile.
Absolutely. No, good to have you. I'm sure most of the people watching this, they will have heard of Jumio, but maybe for those who haven't, could I ask you to quickly introduce yourself, your role at Jumio, and then what does Jumio do in a couple brief sentences?
Sure. So yes, Simon Kingston, as you said, I am responsible for our partner and channel ecosystem here in EMEA. I have a colleague also in Asia Pac and in the Americas. And Jumio is investing significantly in developing our partner ecosystem as part of our sales strategy and development of the organization moving forwards. As you know, Jumio is the leading AI-powered identity and ID verification provider in the world. We probably invented the technology in the marketplace back in 2000 and 2010. But since that time, we've built the platform to be more than just identity and ID, adding KYC and AML capabilities, using advanced biometric technology to do advanced authentication, and recently as well adding capabilities in transaction monitoring through our acquisition of Beam Solutions. So we will look to add additional services, geolocation, etc., as we build out that full suite of KYC, AML kind of solution. So not only know your customer, know your employee, know your patient, know your gamer. So that's Jumio. Obviously, significant profile in the financial services marketplace, which brings us together today. But of course, very well known in other heavily regulated sectors, gaming, education, healthcare as well.
You already mentioned some of your clients there, and of course, financial services, the context in which we speak. And you also mentioned some of the aspects of what Jumio is used for. But what are the key challenges that you help them solve? What are the top 3 problems you help your clients solve?
Absolutely. So I think, highly relevant to our discussion and our engagement, of course, is onboarding. Mm-hmm. We've moved from bricks and mortar onboarding, where people would typically, when they sign up for an account, visit a branch, validate their identity and the authenticity of their identity documents within a branch. We know there's been a significant amount of digital transformation going on, but that's only accelerated in the current environment. So we allow banks and other financial institutions to be able to remotely validate and quickly validate and onboard new prospective customers very cost effectively, very quickly, and with a great user experience as well. So onboarding. Obviously, we're operating in regulated industries. Those companies have a responsibility and a compliance requirement to be able to evidence that they've taken reasonable precautions and anti-fraud measures. So we help them discharge that regulatory compliance requirement. And I guess through trying to monetize, not necessarily monetize, but actually extract value from that ongoing process, we also then provide our customers with the ability to monitor their relationship on an ongoing basis, but also to give their customers an easy way to either re-authenticate for high value transactions, or in the event they've lost their password, using that biometric data that we capture. So making a very secure and trusted engagement throughout the customer lifecycle.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned that, yeah, of course, the entire customer lifecycle there. But what would you say is what are the key USPs of Jumio? What differentiates you from some of the other names in that space?
Yes, so as I said, we've been in this business the longest, so we've actually built up a substantial database and an enviable client list and production database. So we have a very high quality of service, so that we've been able to derive from the introduction of AI and machine learning to speed things up, building our algorithms on substantial production data. But we're not fully AI. We focus on delivering an overall total cost of ownership gain for our partners. We have a small army of human verification experts split between India and Colombia. There's not a single document fraud type that they haven't come across. Mm-hmm. So what distinguishes us from some of our other pure AI players is the level of accuracy that we're able to deliver in the determination of, positive verifications and negative verifications through that combination of AI and human intelligence. We are truly global. We're operating in over 200 countries and over 3,500 document types that we're able to support across that. And we, leveraging that capability, we give 100% determination on every verification, yes or no. No ifs, buts, maybes. So the need for, going back to my total cost of ownership argument, there's very minimal need for referral or subsequent remediation given the quality of service that we offer. So that's in a nutshell. It's our technology and human combination, delivering highly accurate, definitive verifications, mm-hmm. global presence and coverage on our documents. And also we allow our customers to do that through multiple channels as well, to leverage the optimum sort of image capture through SDK, iOS, Android devices, or mobile web and web-based journeys, or indeed through APIs. So very easy to integrate into any conceivable channel as well.
Okay, I want to relate some of those points back to the things we do and the propositions that we build. And there are a couple of key aspects for us at the moment are that there's a convergence of the different propositions of money management, of saving, investing, trading, financial planning, all coming together in holistic propositions that our clients build for the end clients. But that's like, it's true, very true to the nature of the platform approach. So in the context of that, what do you think, like where does Jumio fit in with these kinds of propositions, and how does KYC fit into these kinds of propositions? And maybe, I don't know if you also want to mention some names maybe in the financial services space that you guys have worked with and are working with, of course, and what the significance of those are for you.
Sure. So we work with, some of the major established banks, core banks, with HSBC, for example, also with some of the more recent challenger banks, Monzo, Metro Bank, and indeed pure play neobanks like Starling, etc. So, and typically that starts with an onboarding process for new clients, and I've articulated that. But as well, I think during the course of that journey, remember I referred to having established a biometric identity for your customers. That can be used to re-authenticate the specific transaction. So in the event that somebody is doing a loan origination program, there may need to be the requirement just to, rather than just using a password, you want a higher level of security validation that the person applying for that loan is still who they say they are. So using re-authentication in that perspective. And then obviously from an ongoing basis, the ability to monitor people's transactions using our transaction monitoring service to flag any potential areas of fraud. Or if somebody becomes suddenly politically exposed, they decide to take a new role, enter politics, our ongoing AML screening services as well. So they can be deployed throughout the life cycle, depending upon the engagement you have with the organization, but principally from your point of view, I think it's initially it's onboarding and then re-authentication at different stages of taking new financial products.
No, absolutely, it makes perfect sense. Yes, I think those are the key elements really, especially given that it's a regulated activity, of course, and the specifics around the importance of the compliance there. Yeah. I want to ask you generally about what do you think in your experience also, of course, like what does it mean to work with partners, and how do you generate more client value? How specifically does helping or working with partners help Jumio to generate more client value?
Well, it's interesting. Nobody really tries to validate their identity in and of its own reason. Mm-hmm. So Jumio only exists actually to aid our partners in their acquisition of customers. I think how we help partners specifically is to discharge their requirement to know their customers, but also to do that in a frictionless way with a great user experience that helps build trust and credibility in the overall engagement mm-hmm. of our customer's customer with our customer. So we don't sit as an of ourselves. Now, you could argue in developments going forward whether there will be portable identities. We probably authenticate or re-verify a number of different people needing to, you apply for 2 bank accounts, you've got to go through the same process twice. We could be on the end of that. Maybe you're subscribing for a government service or access to government services or game platforms. So right now we exist to allow our partners and our customers to truly know their customer, to onboard them safely, avoid fraud, but at the same time create a great onboarding experience.
All right, no, makes sense. Actually, you've almost built me a perfect segue there, because I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think? What's the future of KYC and identity and verification, and well, maybe in the context of money management propositions, but also generally, what does the roadmap in the future look like for you?
Yeah, so I alluded to one. I'll come back to that in terms of that transportable identity, if you like, reusable identity. But I think for now, classically, it's about building out a platform of additional services that continue to span the life cycle, and doing that in a holistic platform environment. So customers don't have to go and integrate a verification service, an AML service, a KYC service, an ongoing transaction monitoring, to be able to pull all of those feeds into a single platform. And I think we're seeing that build out, and that's certainly Jumio's intent. Mm-hmm. And to be able to offer flexibility and choice within that, almost a bit of plug and play platform basis, and then adding on additional fraud triggers. So I alluded to one earlier, being able to understand the geolocation of an applicant, for example. Are they in a place where you expect them to be? Is there anything significant about where they're calling from, and those sorts of patterns? So ever more sophisticated layers of fraud detection and prevention to give a rich environment. And then I think we come as obviously continuing to build our AI and machine learning capability, building out from all of those algorithms to do it quicker, smarter, and ever more effectively. But I think one of the big trends we're likely to see as well, you've kind of got the bank ID notion in Sweden. It's an ID that's issued through the banks, but it's used for multiple purposes, and it's got a very high adoption rate. So I think we will, and from the discussions I'm having with other partners in the ecosystem, I think there's a big move to look at how you put the user in control of their identity. Do it once, and that's going to be a development I think we see increasingly over the coming years, and there'll be all sorts of challenges about how one pays for and monetizes that, because an individual probably doesn't want to pay to establish their own identity, but it's a highly valuable asset, having a trusted token, if you like, of your identity that you can use swiftly amongst multiple providers.
All right, so there's almost like a systemic transition probably happening, and then, well, yeah, the technology needs to underlie all of that, I guess, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, very, very interesting. Well, thank you so much, Simon, for the insights. Thank you for coming on today.
It's been a pleasure, Nikolai, and I look forward to our work together in the future.
Absolutely. Good to have you in our ecosystem. And thank you again. Thank you to Jumio. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Okay. Cheers, Nikolai.